Let's go! Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. Some transfer news today and some numbers-related stuff. There's a bit to go through. The news does seem to be coming in thick and fast at the moment. And if you do enjoy the content, please do me the distinct honour of clicking the algorithm buttons. Please like, share, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. If you can hear a banging in this video, I'm very sorry. I'm going to try and filter it out with some audio magic, but my neighbour is building a shed. He's doing it plank by plank. He's putting a lot of effort in, and fair play to him. Okay, so let's get into it. Right, the jitters are over. The nerves are finished. Liam Delap has officially, as of last night, been announced for Chelsea. We've seen him signing the contract. We've seen him in a Chelsea shirt. Chelsea have put out a nice little short of him kicking a ball around Stamford Bridge. It's happened. He's here. He's in the squad for the Club World Cup, and hopefully lots more than that. Questions have been asked about what's going to happen with Nicholas Jackson. Despite links with Man United, I do think that Nicholas Jackson will and should stick around. We need more than one striker, right? Especially when they're both so young. They need to push each other, and they both offer something kind of different. They're not exactly the same kind of player, so it adds more different kinds of firepower to Maresca's arsenal. And that brings us on to the numbers, right? Liam Delap has boldly decided to take the number 9 shirt. Ooh, the curse. What about the curse? Is it over? Is this it? There's a lot less pressure and expectation on Liam Delap to come in and be the next Drogba instantly. So maybe that lack of expectation will fight the curse, and maybe that's over too. Things are looking good. In other number-related news, Cole Palmer has decided to take the number 10, which, to be fair, should never really have been owned by Mykhailo Mudryk in the first place. All the natural things seem to be coming together. It is a good, interesting, and exciting time to be a Chelsea fan. I'm really excited to see Liam Delap as a focal point of the team. I think we've been missing that for a long time. There's the thing with the crosses. Do you know what I mean? For some reason, despite not having a decent striker or that kind of striker for quite some time, we are absolutely addicted to putting crosses in. So hopefully now with someone like Liam Delap there, we can start converting some of those crosses. And we didn't need a huge amount of points to finish a lot better than we did last season, right? So, even if it's an extra 4 or 5 goals a season out of these crosses, that wins games, that garnishes more points, that helps us really compete for those top spots. So wicked. Excited. As far as transfers go, things are starting to heat up. Yesterday, I released a video about Mike Maignan, the goalkeeping situation, and the frustration that it seemed like the Blues weren't going to opt for it because we only want to pay 8.4 mil, 10 million euros, and AC Milan value him at a lot more than that, at 30 million euros, despite only having a year left on his contract. That's 25 million pounds, by the way. Despite their differences of valuation, rumours are continuing to circulate, right? Today, we've seen lots of positive news coming out from Mike Maignan's camp himself, saying that he really wants to push the move through to Chelsea. His contract talks with AC Milan has stalled, and he wants this move. He's up for it. I'm up for it. And I'd be really surprised if we got him for 8 mil. But man, if we can get him for 8 mil, even 10, that'd be an absolute steal. You got to think we paid 20 mil for Philip Jorgensen, we paid 25 mil for Robert Sanchez. Getting someone like Mike Maignan for 10 million pounds, 50 million euros, whatever, that's great business if we can make that happen, man. I am reserved about it, like the deal being that good. But Wicked. In other transfer news, Mohamed Kudus keeps popping up. I haven't seen as much about Jamie Gittins in the last day or so. The news does seem to be more focused on West Ham's Mohamed Kudus at the moment. So this is an interesting one. My understanding is he is a number 10, right-sided, left-footed kind of guy. We've got quite a lot of those kind of guys now, unless Maresca is really keen to get a left footer on the left wing. Obviously, we experimented a lot with that last year, but it does seem like a right footer is what we're after. He hasn't exactly torn up trees. He seems to have been a reasonable player, but the initial things I was seeing this morning is that West Ham wanted £85 million for him. 85 million quid for Kudus is a no. Like, absolutely not. No way. That's the sort of money we were talking about for Rodrigo, right? And, that's obviously, if you put them both, I mean, wages, obviously, again, wages are always a thing. But if you put Kudus and Rodrigo next to each other, every Chelsea fan out there is going to say Rodrigo, right? Now, we're not making the decisions. We're not the manager. We're not the technical directors or whatever. But just from the eye test, right? Just from the eye test and the levels that Rodrigo's been playing at for the last few years compared to the levels that Kudus is playing at for the last few years, if we've got 80 mil to spend on an attacking midfielder or winger of some type, let's go in for Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. Let's go back and look at Rodrigo. Like, let's absolutely not spend £85 million on Mohamed Kudus. So from the off, it was looking a bit like, oh, not sure about that one. That seems a bit, And then I saw another news story later in the day that we'd apparently gone in and tried to do some swapsies because we are absolutely chock-a-block full of players that we are really happy to get rid of at the moment. So the two names in particular that I saw were Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and I actually mentioned in another video, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall to West Ham. That seems like the kind of thing that could happen. He could get into their team. And the other one, lo and behold, was Robert Sanchez. Rejoice! Not only do we seem to be progressing with the idea of signing Maignan, that's the first time I've seen something concrete that says we are looking to offload Robert Sanchez. Yes, this has been a good day. This has been a good day so far. Things can change, right? So I'm not going to get too excited about it. But even just seeing something saying that we're actively looking to put Robert Sanchez in a deal for someone, I mean, you know, realistically, unless we offer both players, we're still looking at paying 50, 60 more plus for Kudus in that respect. And that's still a lot. So it looked to have been at that point that West Ham were like, no. West Ham were like, no, we don't want Dewsbury-Hall or Sanchez. And, you know, this you can read a million reports and they're all conflicting with each other, right? So you can only report on what you've read. But just to kind of try and follow the discourse, as it were, it looked like that West Ham were not a fan of the idea of taking Sanchez or Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. So I was like, kind of emotionally being pulled all over the place because I don't want to pay anywhere near that money for Kudus. But if it facilitates getting rid of, like, you know, would I want to pay that much money outright for the player? No. If I thought we could value Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall at 30 million and Robert Sanchez at 25 million, and then we pay an additional 25 million for Kudus, more palatable for sure. Still not ideal, and I'm still not 100% sure if he's what we need. Kind of feel the same about Rayan Cherki. Amazing player, but with all of our left-footed attacking midfielders, not sure that's what we need. But like I say, if we can facilitate getting some of these players out and bring in some firepower, okay, that's a reasonably interesting prospect. You get both of their wages off the books as well, don't you? And I don't think Kudus is exactly on a bag at West Ham. So interesting, definitely something interesting there. So yeah, although that seemed like West Ham had rejected it, then I did see something saying maybe West Ham are interested in Robert Sanchez. At this point, I don't know. Like I say, this transfer is getting batty already. We're like 4 days into the 10-day window that's open. Pre-Club World Cup, and it is already all over the place, man. It's so difficult to follow what's going on. But Mohamed Kudus, what do you guys think? Maybe you guys know more about him than I do. I think he's not a prolific goal scorer, right? It was like 5 goals last year, which is Jadon Sancho levels when we think about it. Not a massive goal scorer, but is that because of lack of service or, lack of opportunities in that kind of team? So, yeah, tell me what you think. Mohamed Kudus, is he a yes or is he a no? Are you pro Mike Maignan? I am pro Mike Maignan in the grand scheme of things. I'd have been pro Mike Maignan if we'd have paid 25 mil for him. Do you know what I mean? I think that's, compared to saying that's what we spent on Sanchez. I know Sanchez is a little bit younger. That is literally the only metric that Sanchez has up on Mike Maignan. Everything else is squarely in the Frenchman's court. We're still hearing little dribs and drabs about Hugo Ekitike of Frankfurt. Again, another really expensive player, right? And if we're talking about 80 mil for a player, then I guess, based on his performance at Frankfurt, Hugo Ekitike seems like a better use of that kind of money than someone like a Mohamed Kudus. It just feels crazy, doesn't it? It just feels crazy. Sorry to keep going on about Kudus, but it's just blown my mind that they want 85 mil for him. You can't get Palmer for 40 mil and Kudus cost you 85. Do you know what I mean? What is this world that we're living in? It's crazy. Regarding strikers, it does seem that Chelsea have dropped out of the race for Victor Osimhen. Personally, I am really, really, really okay with that. Not only am I okay with it, I cannot wait to stop hearing about it. We've been hearing about Victor Osimhen every single week for the last like 2 years, man, and I'm tired of it. It was already evident, wasn't it? It was already evident. We were talking to him all of that transfer deadline day, the last one, before he went to Galatasaray. And the reason we didn't get him wasn't because we ran out of time. It's because he wants too much money. Do you know what I mean? He wants like £200,000 after tax, and that is ultimately looking at paying him like 400 grand a week. I don't want to pay anyone 400 grand a week. Get me, Luis Suarez from the Liverpool era, or 2010 Lionel Messi, or bring Eden Hazard back, and we'll talk about paying, prime Eden Hazard, and we'll talk about paying someone 400 grand a week. But unless we can time travel and rip some absolutely unbelievably wicked in hindsight players out of the fabric of time and put them in our squad now, I don't want to pay anyone 400 grand. It just seems a week. It just seems it's too much of a risk. It's too much of a gamble, and it can really, really hurt you in the long run. I know as Chelsea fans, we get really frustrated when we see players come in and, because obviously back in the day, it used to be go out and get the best guy, go and spend the money on the best guy. That was like the old school mentality. But the old school mentality doesn't work in this new kind of age of football that we're living in, right? And it's not sustainable. Look at United. United are looking at paying Brian Mbeumo 250 grand a week. And yes, they can do that because they're Man United, but they finished 17th. Do you know what I mean? It's not sustainable. If that doesn't work out for them, again, it is a gamble, because yes, he's had a wicked season at Brentford, but if it doesn't work out, then they're stuck with him for the rest of his contract, paying him 250 grand a week. Counter to the most of the reports that I initially thought that we supposedly rejected Jadon Sancho. Other reports have come out after that saying that Jadon Sancho wanted 250 grand a week, and we were like, no. Do you know what I mean? We can't afford to spend this kind of money on these players that are not going to deliver. And I'm really here for the idea that we'll pay you 100 grand a week because you look like a real player. If you score this many goals this season, we'll give you another 100 grand next season. Do you know what I mean? It's like giving people stuff to aim for. That's a culture that we need to build. And it takes time. And it's so easy to destroy that culture in an instant by paying Victor Osimhen 400 grand a week. So, there's two things going on at the moment, isn't there? There's the rising of superstar wages that's going up and up and up and up and up, to the point that we're seeing people ask for 200, 300, 400 grand a week, and that's becoming reasonably normal. But at the other side of that, clubs are really, really struggling financially. PSR's become like a massive thing now, and we're also trying to build this new kind of culture of, instead of thinking, oh, I'm ready for 400 grand a week, and I promise you things will go good if you just give me the money, it's changing to, no, you need to come in and show us what you can do. Cole Palmer's a good example, right? Cole Palmer doubled his wage, didn't he? We got him in, we bought him for 40 mil. We paid him 60 grand a week for the first year. And then after that first year, because he did absolutely amazingly, we doubled his wage. So we put him on 120 grand a week. And he hasn't kicked on this season. Do you know what I mean? It's like he hasn't kicked on this season. So even imagine if we'd have gone, yeah, okay, cool. Cole Palmer scored 1 million goals in a season for this first time. So now here's 300 grand a week. And then we get this season with him. Then all of a sudden that looks like a bad move, doesn't it? So yeah, these gradual increases need to be the way that things are. Every other kind of business in the world runs this way, right? Like, when have you ever gone for a job and come from another job and just said, I want this amount of money because this thing I did at this other place? No, it's always, okay, you'll go on this level, and based on your performance, you get salary increases, right? That's just a really normal thing. And footballers are on crazy money, so I don't think it's the end of the world to expect them to do the same thing. So yeah, I've just gone on a bit of a money ramble there. I'm not really sure where that came from, but you guys know what I mean, right? You've got to see what I mean. Like I say, it gets less dopamine, and it's a bit less blockbustery than it used to be. But I like the idea that we're not just going in for the absolute biggest names, because it's not just about the biggest name anymore. It's about that wage, and the wages are crazy, absolutely crazy. So to finalise that point after my little ranty rant there, let's not buy anyone and pay them 400 grand a week. I don't think there's a football player good enough in the world at the moment to pay 400 grand a week just because they want it. Do you know what I mean? So not so much transfer news, just a little tidbit to wrap things up for today. Willian, our excellent old right winger, who we all loved very dearly, despite him not being a numbers guy, he was an absolutely excellent player. I loved Willian. He has come out endorsing the new Willian, Esteval Willian. So old Willian has come out and said, new Willian is going to be like Lamine Yamal. Now, what does anyone know really? But at the end of the day, it's a fun little story, isn't it? Willian likes Willian, and hopefully we're all going to like Willian too. I'm really excited to see Esteval in a Chelsea shirt. He's young, he's hungry. Can he be our answer to Lamine Yamal? Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of player. It's so rare to find a really young player like that. I mean, he is 18 now. Obviously, Lamine was like 16 when he started at Barcelona. But 18 is still really, really young, like ridiculously young. In fact, we need to not lose sight of like what a young player is. 21 is still a young player in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, Esteval looks wicked, doesn't he? And I think, he's going to be gunning for that right wing spot. I saw a comment on a YouTube thread the other day saying we need to push Palmer back out to the right and, because Esteval is going to come in and take that spot. I don't think anything as drastic as that is going to happen. I don't think as well, like, you got to set your realistic expectations, right? Palmer didn't come in, Palmer was a relative unknown, I guess, in comparison, but Palmer didn't come in and just do it. Do you know what I mean? Palmer came in and was on the bench and then started coming off the bench and getting a few penalties, then started starting and getting a few more penalties, and then just kind of exploded from there. I think if anything is going to happen with Esteval, it's going to be like that. He's going to be broken in gently. It's going to be a culture shock. He's been in Brazil for a really long time. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's been living in the UK or whatever. Do you know what I mean? There's always so much more to think about especially with a young player. Cole Palmer's actually a good example of this as well, because in some of Cole Palmer's earliest interviews, he was like, even just moving from Manchester to London was a culture shock because he'd lived with his family his whole life. Do you know what I mean? His mum did his washing and cooked his meals for him. So Esteval is going to be a very, very fresh-faced 18-year-old coming from Brazil to the UK. And that is, that comes with so much more than just getting on a pitch and playing football. So no, maybe it happens because, stranger things have happened. But I do not expect Esteval Willian to come in and lock down that right wing spot from day one. I do think he will grow into it quickly. Do you know what I mean? I assume, should he play enough, I would imagine he'd be rotating there with Pedro by the end of the season for sure. This is on the assumption that we don't keep Madueke around, because otherwise we've just got too many left-footed right wingers, haven't we? But yeah, I don't expect Esteval to come in and absolutely hit the ground running or even necessarily have a Cole Palmer style season. But he does look like a phenomenal talent, and it is really exciting to get one of the world's youngest talents. Like, this is the kind of talent the Real Madrid thought they were getting when they got Vinny Jr., right? And it took a few years to happen. Vinny Jr. didn't just go into that Real Madrid team and absolutely smash it straight away. It took a little while, and now Vinny Jr. is regarded as one of the best players on the planet, and it is a travesty that he didn't win the Ballon d'Or when he was up for it at that time. So yeah, that's today's Chelsea rant over. Less of a rant, more of like a mixed up, newsy, informative-y kind of thing, right? I hope so anyway. I hope you guys are enjoying the content. So I will be back probably tomorrow evening again, because I have, as I mentioned, a reasonably busy weekend ahead of me. Please go and check out the fun little video that I made with my partner. We played Smash or Pass. I say we did, she did really, I just kind of hosted. She played Smash or Pass with the entire Chelsea first team. If you're a guy watching this and your girlfriend ever watches the football with you, please get her to watch that video, because we would love to know if the kind of things that my partner was saying is the kind of things that your girlfriends are saying. It was a great video. We had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys really enjoy it too, even though it's probably not the normal type of content that you'd see on it. So that will be it until the next Chelsea bomb drops. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Always a pleasure to make content for you. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you again really, really soon. Peace.